Good afternoon, my YouTube viewers. It is Crystal here, and in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Mann Whitney U test, which is sometimes called the Wilcoxon Rank Sum test, which is also a non-parametric test. So, in the last video, we talked about the Wilcoxon signed rank test. So in this video, we're going to talk about the Wilcoxon summed rank test, which is a different type of test, and sometimes it's called the Mann Whitney U test. So the Mann Whitney U test compares medians between two independent groups, serves as a substitute for the independent samples t-test when normality is violated. And so what we're going to do is we're going to review the code of a sample program that will demonstrate the Mann Whitney U test, also called the Wilcoxon Rank Sum test. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make independent samples. So you've got group 1 is a vector with the values 12, 15, 14, 10, 9, 11, 13. Group 2 is a vector with the values 16, 18, 14, 17, 19, 15, 20. And then now we're going to perform the Mann Whitney U test. So test becomes Wilcox.test, brackets group 1, comma group 2, paired equals false, exact equals false. So let's just compare the code from the last video we did. The last video we did was Wilcox.test, brackets x, comma y, comma paired equals true, exact equals false. And in this video, we've got test equals Wilcox.test, brackets group 1, group 2, paired equals false, exact equals false. So in the previous video, it's a paired test. And so paired is going to be true. But that's the Wilcoxon signed rank test, paired. And in this video, it's not a paired test. It's a Wilcoxon rank sum test. So the paired in the previous video was true, and the paired in this video is false. And that's the difference between the Wilcoxon rank sign test and the Wilcoxon rank sum test, which is also called the Mann Whitney U test. So we're going to look at the test. And so your Wilcoxon rank sum test with continuity correction, your data is group 1 and group 2, W equals 2, your p-value is 0.004844, so you have a very low p-value. It's less than the alpha of 0.05, so you're going to have to go with the alternative hypothesis. So the true location shift is not equal to 0. So now what we're going to do is we're going to combine the data for ranking. So values is a vector which contains group 1 and group 2. And groups is a factor that contains vectors of a repetition of group 1, which is the length of group 1, and a repetition of group 2, which is the length of group 2. And then we're going to compute the ranks of ranks becomes rank brackets values. And we're going to make a box plot. So box plot brackets ranks tilde groups, comma, color equals sky blue and tomato, which is in a vector. The main is the title is Mann Whitney U test or the Wilcoxon rank sum, and then the next line is rank distribution. Y lab is your label on your y-axis, which is ranks. We're going to add the p-value as m-test brackets paste 0 brackets two-sided p-value comma signif brackets test $ p-value rounded to the third digit, side equals 3, line equals 0.5, and CX equals 0.9. And then we run the program, and when you run the program, this is what we come up with. We come up with a box plot for group 1 and group 2, and you get a two-sided p-value of 0.00484, which is less than the significance level, or the alpha, of 0.05. And since it's less than 0.05, that means that you have to reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternate hypothesis. And the alternate hypothesis is the true location shift is not equal to 0. So you can see here the true location shift is not equal to 0 because you've got a median for group 1 of 4 and a median for group 2 of 11. And then if we go back to the Mann Whitney U test, compares the medians between two independent groups. And so you can see that the medians are different. Medians of group 1 is 4, medians of group 2 is about 11. So that concludes this video. The next video is going to be on another nonparametric test. So I hope that you decide to watch it, and I hope that you got something out of this video.